Hi, this is Prasenjit from Informatica GCS. Today I will be discussing about Cloud B2B Gateway custom outbound mapping using custom files. In my earlier video, I have shown the demo how to process custom files with inbound mapping. We have a small agenda. We will shortly discuss about custom files with custom mappings and then how to configure the outbound flow. And after that, we will show a example flow run along with the result demo. As we know, B2B Gateway uses custom data integration mappings, which we create to validate custom files to get exchanged between the organization and its partners. It uses process to backend mapping and outbound mapping in case of two-step processing to read the outgoing data from the backend system. The target of the mapping is an interface file, that is, it could be EDI file, artifact file, or some custom files on the B2B Gateway document store or the partner based on the method that you choose. We have two ways to achieve this outbound flow. One is using two-step processing, another is single-step processing. Here in our video, we will be discussing about the two-step processing so that we can cover the whole scenario or the use case. B2B Gateway has few rules and guidelines for its outbound custom file mapping. It doesn't verify the file type when the mapping is running. As soon as you are setting up your B2B gateway in your org, it will be creating three connections in the administrator connection part of IICS login. Once you go to that administrator connection part, you will be able to see B2B EDI gateway endpoint, and document store. These three connections are available. Document store is a flat file connection. Informatica suggests not to rename or edit these connections at any cost. The most important part with these connections are whenever you are using any EDI gateway connection with your custom mappings, source or target, you have to parameterize those. It is good not to parameterize any other connections apart from B2B gateway connections. And the last is when you define an outbound flow, you must use custom mapping to read the data to send it to partner from the backend system. Before we go to the demo, let us discuss about the sources and target rules for outbound mappings. As we have told, we are going to discuss about two-step processing. In case of outbound, the first mapping to be executed is process from backend mapping, and then the outbound mapping. As I mentioned, it has to be parameterized. The next part, which is the outbound mapping. It has source connection as B2B gateway, EDI gateway, and custom source. And the target should be EDI gateway endpoint and custom target and put. We will cover this point while showing the demo. Let's go to the demo. Okay, so I'm in the B2B gateway. I have already generated one customer named as example. In my previous video, I had shown about inbound settings. So on the same customer, I'm going to show about outbound settings. I have already made the connection where the file should be SFTP'd after the processing. So next is I have to select the process from backend mapping, and as I am going to use two-step processing, I have to select the outbound mapping as well. Let's go to the data integration part and complete the basic process from backend mapping. I'm going to create a new mapping here. As per the rule, we know the source could be anything because I am taking it from my organizational backend and I will be putting it to the process. So I will be choosing my source here. I have selected this source. It's a generic files.txt. This files actually got created from the inbound mapping. I will show the data containing in this particular file. This is that file where I have path, file name, event ID, this information's given. This is a file got generated from the earlier inbound mapping. I'm going to use this file as an input for the outbound mapping. Now I'm going to choose the target. As we know, it should be B2B EDI gateway, and the object we should select as custom target. Let's go to the field mapping, and I can map a few columns like paths, like event ID, and I want the file name as well. Okay, my mapping is ready here. As we have already discussed, all the B2B EDI gateway connection should be set as parameterized. I'll be doing that now. Click on new parameter and OK. Save the mapping. I'm going to change the name of the mapping as well. This is my first mapping, which is process from backend. Now I will go to B2B gateway and I'll be choosing this mapping. Mapping is showing as valid. Let's choose this mapping. Okay, so that mapping is valid and it is not showing any complaint. Next is outbound mapping. Let's go to data integration part once again. We'll create a new mapping again here. As per the rule, I have to choose the source, which is B2B EDI gateway. And the source object will be custom source. Here I should have two targets as we have seen already. One should be B2B gateway and another should be B2B EDI gateway endpoint. So I will bring one more target here. This is a very basic mapping. We are not doing any kind of logical work here. Just to make sure the outbound flow is working good, we are doing on that. So the first mapping connection should be B2B EDI gateway endpoint, and the object should select as put. The second target I should select as B2B EDI gateway, and the object should be selected as custom target. So the mapping is ready here, and definitely we have to parameterize all the B2B EDI gateway connection. So let us start the parameterization. Click on new parameter, click OK, go to the next one. And I'm making the source as also parameterized. Field mappings are already done. I'm just mapping the event ID file path and the file name. For the second mapping also, I'm doing the same field mapping. It is the file name, event ID, and file path. Let's save the mapping. I will change the mapping name as well. So the mapping name is changed to outbound mapping. Let's go to B2B gateway. I'll be choosing this mapping now. And as I have mentioned, we are not doing any logical work over this mapping, over this video. This video is just to understand how to configure the outbound mapping for custom files with custom mappings. Definitely, users can use their own logics and build up any complex data integration mapping for process from backend and outbound mapping. So I have saved it. I have already tested that connection as well. Let's test the outbound flow. It is transferring the file now. The second mapping is also completed. Now using that outbound connection, it will be transferring the file. The file transfer got completed. Let us go to that target location to see the file. We have used demo.xml and we got the file here. So this is it. We have one video KB link regarding B2B Gateway introduction, and we request you to go through that particular document link as well for more information about B2B Gateway handling custom files and custom mappings. We would love to hear from you. Kindly use these portals for your feedback or comments. Thank you.